Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. If I can just have your attention. Thank you very much. If you're anything like me, when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I had stacks and stacks of questions about the meaning of life. I was reasonably successful early in my career. I had everything to be content about. I was married, I had a couple of kids, I was on the up and up in my workplace, but there was just something missing in my life and I just couldn't work out what it was. And in fact, I used to think about it a lot at night time when I was lying in bed by myself, thinking about surely there's more meaning to life than this. And the thing that really got me going was that I was scared of death. It didn't make sense to me that I would live for 70 years or so if I was lucky, and at the end of that I would simply not exist anymore. I would be gone, be buried in the ground, the worms would eat me up and that'd be it. And something inside me said, that just doesn't make sense. So I went on a bit of a journey of discovery to try to work out what is all this about, what does life mean? And it's a journey that I've never regretted. My life did change dramatically when I tried to, when I heard first the claims of Christianity. Now, the Alpha course offers this opportunity for people to ask those type of questions in a non-threatening environment, not to be embarrassed by anything, but this opportunity to ask questions about the Christian faith. And somebody has, in the room today that we're going to get up now, has done that course recently. So would you make Simon Way feel very welcome, please? Test. Is that working out there? Great. That's yours, mate.
Thank you.
So Simon, you a few months ago participated in an Alpha course. Can you tell us why you chose to take part in that course?
Yes, certainly. I suppose very similar to what Tim had said, I had a lot of questions in regards to Christianity and God and where everything fitted in. I'd been brought up with a little bit of faith at home, but really was still at a very loose end when it came to where everything fitted in, and I suppose in particular where I fitted into the world, the universe, and tried. Yeah, I had a lot of questions because the world seemed, there was a lot of ugly things happening in the world, so it left a lot of questions, and somebody had actually suggested that an Alpha course was a place to go and talk and maybe even learn about things like that.
Okay, so you went along to this course, and what was it like? Who did you meet? What sort of people were there?
Okay, probably the biggest thing for me was, and I remember walking into my first Alpha course thinking, oh my goodness, I was quite worried. I thought, who am I going to meet? Am I foolish here? What am I doing? How should I act? And I felt very nervous because I didn't know a lot about Christianity. I didn't know a lot about God, and I didn't really know what I was walking into. And I got into and met a group of people who, it was very quickly, we realised we were all in the same boat. We looked at each other and all automatically felt at ease because a lot of us were in the same position where we were, I suppose, at the beginning journey of saying, well, what is this world about and what is Christianity about? And it was a very, very safe environment to actually explore and ask some questions, some real basic questions that I look back on now and I think, gosh, I'm glad I asked those questions, but to other people who are, who are well established with their faith, they probably seem like very basic questions about, where do we fit in and how does it all go? And it was just such a safe place to actually learn. We developed over a course of many weeks with the people, a real fellowship, but again, and I think importantly, a real understanding of what Christianity talks about and how it is in this world. So it was a great environment for me to
Well, let's talk a little bit about that environment. So, can you describe that environment a bit more? Did you feel comfortable? Was there anybody putting pressure on you? Was it, how was that?
Look, it was I'd probably say for about the first half an hour, we were probably, or 20 minutes or so, we were all in the room very nervous about where we were and what we were doing, because we were vulnerable, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it was a really, really safe environment. The people that were there, and there was two people, I suppose, running the discussion with Alpha and using sort of, I suppose, some text to guide that discussion. We realised very, very quickly that this was a non-threatening environment. We were not there to be converted into Christianity. We were there to actually be encouraged to ask questions, and that was, I think for me, that was the beauty of that. It was non-threatening, and you were just encouraged to be yourself, and that was a relief for me, and that helped me realise that I didn't have anything to fear as such. So.
Great. And so it went for a number of weeks. At the end of that, period, what did you learn? What was the outcomes from that?
Look, for me, I suppose I was growing in confidence. I was growing in knowledge about Christianity, and I was growing in comfort, which I think was probably the biggest thing for me personally. The whole group was sort of bonding together in essence, and feeling very comfortable in asking questions and saying, well, I don't feel, some of the preconceptions of faith or apply to me, or where do I fit in? And we started to really, I suppose, bounce off each other, as well as using obviously the people who were in the room facilitating the course. And at the end of it, I mean, myself personally, I got a real comfort in, I suppose, dare I say, in Christianity, and the realisation that it was okay. There was nothing frightening there. I didn't feel I changed as an individual. I didn't feel I was suddenly converted and had to race to church on Sunday, but I really felt that I had a strength within me that I didn't have, a confidence within me. And for me personally, I'm now walking the path with Christianity, and it was something that I wouldn't have done 12 months ago. I wouldn't have been comfortable enough understanding what this was all about to actually, well, certainly to stand up here in front of you all, but also to actually think, gosh, that's okay. This life, there is meaning to this life, and odds on, it's not just the worms eat me up when I die. There's actually more to this, and it's a big journey, and I'm only at the beginning of it. But I actually like the fact that I've found out that it's okay to be you, wherever you are and whoever you are. And I think as long as you're learning and as long as you're open-minded, then it's Alpha for me really provided me that strength and confidence.
So Simon, if you're in this room and you're wondering whether there's anything out there, you're wondering, who is this Blake they talk about that supposedly walked on Earth a couple of thousand years ago? What's it all about? What's this cross thing? Is this the right environment to explore those types of issues?
Oh, look, certainly and I can speak personally for myself, but also the group, I suppose, that I did this with, because we do keep in contact, and I meet up every once in a while with the people that I did the Alpha course with. And look, I think if you're somebody who has got questions and is is somebody who wants to understand more about either the Christian faith or some of the traditions of Christianity, or and really questioning, well, how can this God and Jesus be there when there is still all this injustice happening around the world? For me, it was the tool that took me from being somebody who sat on the sidelines questioning, and I suppose had my own preconceptions and was quite comfortable sitting in my space saying, well, I'm not really sure, to actually getting out and saying, well, let's expand those horizons, let's have a look at it. And it was just, as I say, it was in such a non-threatening environment, and I just took along an open mind, and really felt that I actually developed as a human being through Alpha.
Fantastic.
And understood a lot of what, I suppose, in my view, life is now all about.
Excellent. Thanks for being very open, Simon, and coming up and speaking to us also. Let's make Simon feel welcome.